Hello everybody, I'm here at the Modiphius stand with Chris to talk about an upcoming game of mech combat.
We call them hardbots.
Hardbots is a fantastic name.
Hardwar. It started in Poland a few years back, and we loved it so much we bought the company. What I love about it is, I love tanks and big robots, but it's a very fast-playing 6mm scale sci-fi game, and we've basically remastered all the vehicles. There's 9 main factions that are coming, and we've created a whole new range of scenery. We've gone back to the farm. It's like Little House on the Prairie. It's a little kind of slightly sci-fi reimagining of the classic American farmstead. We've got all these unusual farm buildings and pipes and oil pumps and things. And that's a whole series of scenic sets. We've also got, pointing over to my left here, there's some defense sets and other kind of turrets and terrain. And this is really fast playing. The game you're seeing right in front of me now we've played about half an hour. Okay. It's 4 vehicles versus 4 vehicles. We call them elements. Really simple mechanics. When you're shooting each other, you're looking at the range between the vehicles. Let's say that's 14. The armor might be 3. That gives me a target number of 17 that I'm rolling. This has 5 dice in attack. I roll those. I'm trying to get a total of 17 across the dice. Right. And if there's any pairs, I do criticals. And then the opponent rolls their defense dice to try and cancel some of their dice. Hopefully I end up with one or 2 hits. And then in the quick play rules, that just reduces your element's damage. In the full rules, you actually reduce the damage track of different abilities.
Right. I was going to ask about that because it does look like there are things to knock off there. And it has that classic mech combat feel without getting into the sublimely nitty and gritty of chipping away specific locations.
So exactly, in the full rules you can chip away, and criticals actually let you, the attacker, choose which stat you have to reduce. So in the quick play rules we're developing, which is really about letting you play a small game very fast, like a 20-minute game, or I want to have 2 dozen tanks and hardbots on the table, battling it out, and I can play that in an hour. So the quick play rules, you just have 1 damage track, but all the abilities still count. You've still got the granular interest, but things start dying a lot quicker on the table.
So you mentioned there's 9 factions to begin with, which is great, having that sort of core of factions already put together. How expansive are those factions? Are people going to be looking at quite a lot of hardbots and vehicles per faction? Are there a small amount? We're looking here at a demo game, so presumably this isn't going to be the sort of standard game size.
This is a typical game you could play as a 2x2 foot game, but it's really down to what you want to play, because it's also got solo co-op rules, so I can start as a little kind of unit commander and gradually build up my force, and the game is going to scale with you. What you're looking at is kind of 50 to 100 years from now, where it's not like Russia and USA and Europe. It's like big corporations with some kind of national interest, and there's lots of kind of company commanders who are doing it for the money. You might be paid to defend a little farmstead, as we've got here. You might be a big mercenary company being sent in to capture some oil fields or whatever. So, and the good thing is you can mix and match across the factions, because I'd say let's call them more like their companies' corporate vehicles. It'd be like, maybe let's have some Ford and Volkswagen, on our team. And so you can draw on the different factions. Like in the Kickstarter we're launching in July, all 9 faction starter boxes are there day one. You're looking at about 8 or 9 vehicles, about £25 each. So it's a really good price for the factions. And then there's 3 different terrain sets, and then we're just unlocking, the only thing we're doing with this is unlocking a bit of extra terrain. So what we want to experiment with is like have all the value there day one for people, because the models exist, we've upgraded them, but we don't need to fund new models. So this is very much let the backers get involved and get some extra bonus content for them in the Kickstarter. And then the factions are, they're going to be growing with developing the storyline over the next few years. So the storyline's going to go forward in 50 to 100 year chunks for the next expansion. So we're going to be going off world and doing lots of other things. And we're going to be developing this new quick play rules set with the community. So the core book will have this kind of quick start rules just to get you playing really fast, because I don't want to have to read a 100-page book, but you can just read a few, like a dozen pages, get playing straight away. But then we're developing with the community the really fast play, bigger battles. Or, you know what, I just want a quick 20-minute game and I have a satisfactory 20-minute game, not one guy, versus one guy.
Yeah, I feel like you've actually got some sort of grit in there, but a bit of meat on the bone, so to speak. Obviously, vehicles, hardbots across the board. Does that mean no infantry at all?
There is infantry in the rules. We're not offering them in the first range because we wanted to keep the offering really simple. We're in production on all the sets at the moment. But let's face it, everyone's got lots of, if you're into 6mm scale or 8mm scale games, not naming any of the big, other companies now, there's loads of great looking infantry out there. Some people just want to focus on the vehicles, so we're keeping it simple to start with, and then we're going to start bringing in very specific infantry sets later on.
I mean, some people won't want to see infantry at all. All they want to see is massive stumpy robots and tanks hammering each other, so it's a good way of doing it. They've got the option there to expand down the line. You
can also build your own. So it's got a the rules for it are about 3 pages, and it gives you all the rules to build your own big stumpy robots or tanks based on any other models you might have. So, if you've got your real favourite models, you can bring that into the game. You don't have to use our models. And it started off as like, let's make this kind of miniatures agnostic set, a bit like we do with 5 Parsecs from Home, 5 Leagues from the Borderlands. So you can use this with any miniatures you've got, but also we've got these really cool sets that are at a really good price. I mean, the original sets were about €50, so we've halved the price using our own production.
I was going to ask about the production. Are these going to be 3D prints, or are they being plastic manufactured, or how is it going about it?
So they're beautiful resin production in the same factory that makes the Fallout and Skyrim and the Mass Effect miniatures that we make. It's our big UK-based factories, and I think we are one of the top 5 in the world in size. So really, we've got a fantastic team working down in Cornwall. So hopefully when people come along and see the miniatures at the show, when they see the quality, we've got a lot of people doing pro paint jobs on them to show off what the miniatures are like. I think you'll see what they're like, it's quality.
I mean, one of the nice things we've seen recently over the past year, maybe 2 years, is that 6mm sci-fi wargaming has had a massive resurgence, and there's a lot of it about, and a lot of people who maybe they're not quite as mature in years as we are, but they're coming to it for the first time. They've never seen it. They've maybe come into the hobby via 28 or 32mm. GW is obviously a big influence. Never came across a 6mm wargame in their life, and these sort of offerings, being able to play not just a quick game, but to play a substantial game at a smaller scale in a smaller space, is a great way of doing it.
I think, especially with GW bringing back Legion Imperialis, people have gone, I can play big battles with tiny miniatures, and it can be really fun. Mantic did their 6mm scale game. You've got BattleTech is just constant. It's such a great brand, always successful, and so what you've seen now is this resurgence of that scale, and people realizing they can play a big battle in a small space, which I think is a big thing now with, as everyone gets older, they don't have the big wargame tables. They need something that can fit on a little coffee table. Maybe they can leave it up in their, one of their rooms. And so you need stuff that you can play those big games without needing a 6-foot by 4-foot gaming table. And I think that's why they're discovering this scale, and it's just got it's a really good place, because also I can carry it in a little tiny box. I don't need cases and cases to carry all the scenery around. So
a leftover plastic container after a Chinese will probably fit most of that stuff in there, which is great. I also like the fact that the terrain has that hex-based look to it. You're not playing on a hex map, but if you are playing other games and you're after a bit of terrain, it's handy.
Because of that resurgence of this game, there's so much great terrain. Gale Force 9 have got a really good train that's, I think, aimed at the BattleTech range, and Imperialis. There's so much cool stuff out there that everyone is making that it's perfect timing. And we went for something completely different. We didn't want to do the big mega city type buildings. We were like, let's do some really cute little farm terrain, some little defences that all feels like it's in its own world. We've got Doug Seacat who's writing the storyline, so he's doing some fiction for us about literally set in the village, in this settlement, in this farming settlement, where one of the forces gets hacked and all hell breaks loose, and it's how the kind of the crews supporting the hardbots and tanks kind of fight back.
I mean, right off the bat, I was struck by just how evocative it is of Love, Death, Robots.
Yes.
Where they had the mechs in a little farm, and it wasn't until the very end it pulls back and you discover they're in just a tiny dome on an alien riddle world.
I mean, to be honest, that was, watching that show, was part of the good inspiration of like, actually, that's such a cute idea about these, like, they're kind of mech pilots, but defending their farms, and you've got all these like little hidden weapons and stuff. So there was lots of ideas that came out of that, and then obviously looking around at what else was in the market. And we always like to try. I don't want to just do more of the same. So we were like, what can we do that's a bit different? And we wanted the farm, but let's make it a bit more sci-fi. And you've even got like one of the buildings, which has got a mech being repaired, and you've got a crane there. That there's all this little attention to detail that the team have put into it, that just really makes it pop out.
So you're saying it's coming to Kickstarter?
Yeah, Kickstarter, I think it's 1st of July, and we've got a quick start that you can download in PDF for free, middle of June, and that's going to let you just try the game with any miniatures you've got, see what it's like, see if you like the quick play version. Everything's really good price. Like the rulebook is a beautiful little digest size hardcover rulebook with lots of new art by the same artist who does a lot of our 5 parsecs books, and the rulebook I think is going to be like £15. So we're trying to make it a bit of a no-brainer. Like, well, of course I want some little tanks.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense to me. If you are at home, check out Modiphius' website. Go to the news. You'll find a lot of stuff about Hardwar. It started popping up there about 2 months ago, I think it was. I first seen it.
And you can also go to hardwarminiatures.com to sign up and get information.
There you go. And if you are here at UKG over the weekend, then they can come to booth.
Come and have a demo at the Modiphius booth. I can't remember the number, but it's the big banner in the sky, so you can't miss it.
I believe it's 3529. So that may or may not be correct. You'll find out when you get here. We're going to push on and see what else there is around at the Expo.